Good Saturday morning. Hey, I actually shot this entire episode last night, cooked myself a delicious dinner, and then trashed all the footage. It was stunningly delicious. I'll tell you what it was. Chicken fried steak, which I hadn't had in like 40 years since I lived down south. Florida. But I went to edit it, and it looked awful. Taste and looks aren't always the same thing. The gravy looked like, well, I won't say what it looked like. But man, was it good, and I was like, this is just not visually presentable. So we're starting over from scratch, but no worries. I got home from work yesterday, and, well, let me just say this. This will be an episode of Gadgets and Gear, Gadgets and Gear, Gadgets and Gear, Gear and Gadgets. Because when I got home, there were a few packages on my front porch. Now, I ordered some stuff from Amazon for this show. A light, a microphone, some things for the camera, for the iPhone. So hopefully we, by slow degrees, begin to up our video quality, our audio quality. It's a long, slow haul to get the quality that we want for you guys. But underneath that was this huge box on the counter, on the front porch, and lo and behold, it was this gift from my sisters, an early birthday present. This beautiful Breville oversized toaster oven. I've always had the little ones. Damn, I could roast a chicken in here. Anyway, I was reading the manual last night. I'm just getting to know it. I picked some fresh asparagus because I'm making breakfast right now. So I'll roast that. That's the virgin run, by the way, this asparagus. I like how the tray comes out when you open it. All right, they're just about done. I'll just drizzle them with a little bit of olive oil, some lemon juice, and some salt. So we'll turn that off. And I'm going to have them with some scrambled eggs, some cheddar, and some prosciutto. But that's not the food for today. There's the prosciutto. We'll be working with that later. I'll have a little with breakfast. But I made up a little pizza dough. I'll let that rise. And what I'm going to do is I have some fresh mozzarella here. The Belgioso, decent commercial brand. It's not like I got it at Arthur Avenue or anything. And here's the kick. I have this Brandywine, big monster Brandywine from summer 2022. This year's tomatoes are just coming in. But what I did is I put this one in a freezer bag and just popped it whole into the freezer. And I'm letting it thaw. And what happens after you freeze them, you can't serve this like caprese or anything, but the skin will come right off after it thaws, and it'll be mushy. It'll be all gelatinous. But that Brandywine flavor from last summer is frozen in, packed in. That's going to be our pizza sauce. And we're going to test out, for Gadgets and Gear, this Breville comes with some nice little roasting pan and this pizza tray. So let's make some pizza in the Breville to break it in. The other thing we're going to use is I have some arugula pesto from harvesting all the arugula last week. So I'll thaw a little bit of that, and we'll have as you know from my pizza episodes, we're breaking into Breville. So the first one will be margarita. We do have some nice fresh basil growing. Actually, that's the windowsill version. I have some big bushy plants outside. So we'll start with a margarita. And then what we will do is in that pizza tray with our nice homemade dough, we'll test it out. Margarita first, and then we'll make a nice pie with the arugula pesto and some prosciutto. But that's coming this evening. Bill's on his way. We're going to go out for lunch. I need some nice Asian supplies in the pantry, and I will see you this evening for pizza. Come on, let's do it. All right, here's that Brandywine tomato. It was in the refrigerator all day long. It's fully thawed. And as I mentioned, now the skin will peel right off. Just off camera here, I have a little compost bin. So the skin just peels right off. I'll take this off, stem. And there was a little funky part there. I'll get rid of that. And look at all that water. So what we're going to do is pour off the liquid, like so. Now, I was almost going to get rid of that earlier. And then I tasted it. Oh, that's not going anywhere. I'll show you what we're going to do with that in just 1 minute. Okay. Let's let that drain a little. Get rid of the stem. Chilled myself up a nice little coop in the freezer. I got this mini shaker glass with some ice in it. Now, when my sister and the mystery guest were here a couple weekends ago, they brought me this beautiful, oversized bottle of Blue Coat dry gin out of Philadelphia. I've had this gin before. It's actually up there on one of my fave lists. Fantastic American dry gin. So let's go with 1.5. And then we've got our tomato juice. This is going to be simple, simple, simple. We'll go whatever's in here. But for mixology purposes, let's measure. So that's a 2-to-1. That's it. We only need one cocktail. 3-to-1. Okay? I thought about maybe some simple syrup, some bitters. You don't need anything with this. This tomato juice is so sweet. I'm just going to chill it up. Icy, icy, icy. Whoops. Blue Coat American gin with summer 2022 brandy wine thawed tomato water. Kind of overfilled that. Yeah, let's do it like this. There we go. Now let's garnish that. A little basil top. Let's give this a try. You're not getting that at the corner bar. Delectable. Alright, I'm going to sip this down. And what I want to do is, I already blundered with the other show. So I'm going to make the first margarita pie off camera so I can focus with this Breville, try to get used to it. I'm giving you no guarantee on the quality of this pizza that's going to come out. I know how to use the Weber with the wood ring and all of that. I know how to use my stone in the oven over here. But this is brand new. So let me give it a shot. I'll do the first margarita pie. If it comes out decent, maybe I'll give you all a little gander at it before I knock back a slice. But then I'll focus on what I really wanted to do was that arugula pesto with the prosciutto. So we'll do that one on camera. And hopefully the first margarita pie, I sort of start learning the ropes a little here and get used to how this thing works. All right. I'll see you in a few. Pizza time. Come on. Let's do it. Come on, let's do it. Okay, just a few seconds to go. It's looking pretty good in there. This is the first pie. Margarita. Let's have a look. Okay, we're going to let it go a few minutes longer. Like I always say, these things are recommendations. They have all kinds of little pizza. You can change fresh, frozen, the size of the pizza. But that's just a ballparky kind of thing. You got to watch your food while it cooks. Thing has a light too, which I love. Can keep an eye on it. I'll give it a little spin. It's looking pretty good in there though. What do you think? Okay, I've been checking on it. I don't want to burn that cheese, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's pull it. Get her on here. Now, quick tip, quick tip. Don't cook your basil. Put it on when the hot pie comes out. And let that hot cheese and sauce just cook it a little. The beauty of the margarita pie is that fresh basil. See how that basil's just kind of wilted now? I'm going to go with a little bit of pepperoncini. There's already some oregano on there. I put that in before it went in the oven, and now I let it set for a few. Let's slice her up. Smells incredible. We'll go 6 slices, 6 little guys. These are small pies. I put the oven on 10. It might be more like an 8-inch, 9-inch. I'm not sure. Now, the first thing I noticed is I didn't get the bottom brown. It's crunchy down there. I had the cornmeal, the white cornmeal. Ooh, it's still hot. I don't want to burn the roof of my mouth. So we didn't get the brown char like you do on the stone. Now, I'm going to get a little stone. You can put a stone in here. Confirmed in the manual. Oh, yeah. Tell you what, that's pizza though. For the initial run with this thing, I'll tell you what, things are pointing in the right direction. The flavor is there. I definitely want to heat a stone in there. Okay? So, first pie ever made in the new Breville, bean, chalet. Thumbs up. Or as the mystery guest said about my ravioli, al dente. Okay. This was good. Let's make the second pie together. Meet me over by the marble. Come on. Let's do it. Come on, let's do it. Pie number 2. Let's get underway. Flour the board a little. Keep my dough over here. Wrapped up in this towel. So let's take another one out. Alright, dough number 2. Stretch it out. Marble here, well floured. Try to leave a little bit of a lip. Get that thin inside. I suppose I could heat the tray and drop this on it. Maybe I'll do that. Got the old peel out here. Now on the first pie, I only used the white cornmeal here. I'll put a little of that on this peel. But for number 2, I'm also going to go with some semolina. Really trying to work that bottom of the crust here. Without a stone, it takes a little ingenuity. But there will be a stone in there by next weekend, I guarantee. Now, the thing is, I had 2 perfect stones that size. But both of them got smashed to smithereens, because that's the way I do things. Alright, on the peel. This, by the way, is the bomb. I can't even, oh my God. And the brandy wines are just coming in now. In fact, it's almost time for some fried green tomatoes. And what I'll do is now that I see how this works, I'm gonna freeze up a batch of them. You just put them in a bag whole. No muss, no fuss. Skin on, right off the plant, into the freezer. That's my pizza sauce from now on, each year. All right, the Belgioso, which is a good workhorse. And we're going like Naples style. I'm not gonna grate this, it's too soft. Just nice pieces, scatter them. Now what I think I'm gonna do here is cook it for a few minutes before the arugula and prosciutto go on. Grana Padano. I also shaved a good healthy amount of this Grana Padano into our arugula pesto. This goes in the freezer with no cheese or any pesto, basil. Don't put your cheese if you're gonna freeze it, okay? And I think the last week's episode I mentioned that it might be a little on the tangy or harsh side because of the arugula, particularly the mature arugula. But that's because I didn't have the cheese in it. Once you add that cheese, I used Grana Padano. You could use whatever you like. Locatelli, Romano, Parmigiano Reggiano, Asiago, whatever you like. I happen to have this Grana Padano. This is arugula, a little bit of mint, walnuts. It's fantastic. All right, I will throw this in the oven. Again, I don't want to be messing with the camera. I want to do this cleanly. I'm trying to pay attention here. Let's get a little olive oil around the outside of the crust. So what I'm going to do now, the oven is preheated. I'm going to drop this time on the hot little plate, little round that they give you. And let's see if that makes a difference. All right, we'll check it out. Halfway through, we'll put our toppings on. All right, it's looking pretty good in there. I had a peek. 6:22 to go, according to the clock on the Breville. Let's get the light on. I think the semolina helped with the bottom. I love how that comes forward. It's one of my favorite things. Definitely want a stone. But 5:58 now. Again, you set for pizza, fresh, you can set for frozen. This is called the Smart Oven Pro. Okay, so I didn't set that time. I just put pizza, fresh, the size of the pizza, and it calculated for me. The Smart Oven Pro, although I'll tell you what, honestly, I think I'm smarter than the oven. So use those as guidelines, but use your cooking skills more so. All right, what I'm gonna do now, that says 5 minutes left. It's crisping, I'll tell you what. So now let's top it. Let's go with some of this arugula pesto. And this stuff packs a punch. You don't need a whole ton of this. But I'm interested to see, that's why I want to put it back in, what actually cooking this stuff does. I think it's going to have a seriously positive transformation in the oven. It's delicious as it is. The mint. Okay, a few drops around. Let's go one there, maybe one in the center. And now, I was going to say the pièce de résistance, but I'm not going to try to use French with this. The prosciutto. Let's just drape some on with the arugula pesto. Quality control. Oh yeah. Prosciutto di Parma. Okay, that's good. Let's pop her back in. Tray and all. All right, this did beep and it said end, it flashed end, But I'm popping it on. I'm going a little bit longer because I did check it. So let's have a peek. I think the two things, heating up the tray and in conjunction with the semolina, I feel like I'm getting a nice, little bit more of a bottom thing going on. Let's give this a peek. Ooh. Much more firmness to the bottom. I'm pulling it. Look at that pie. Wait till I get a little stone inside this thing. Pepperoncini, I think, is all it needs. Some homemade dough. This is not a 3-day fermented dough, which I like to do sometimes. This is out of Paul Hollywood, the bread book. We did that way back, one of the first Come On in My Kitchen episodes. Fantastic book. Thank you, Cousin Judy, Cousin Jimmy, girls. Rose about, I don't know, 2 hours on the counter, and then I refrigerated it when Bill and I left, and then I took it out when I got home. If you refrigerate your dough, just make sure you get it out and on the counter a couple of hours before you're ready to use it. Cold dough will not stretch. Here we go. Arugula pesto from the 2023 final arugula harvest, the mature rucola with mint, grana padano, prosciutto di Parma, it's hot. Let me give it a minute. What a combo. Yes. Bean, chile. Thank you again for this way too early, way too amazing birthday present. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this thing. Unbelievable. The rest of you folks, we'll see you for the next episode. Come on, let's do it. I had one more dough round left, so I made one final pie in honor of one of the great slices of my life. No cheese. Just the last of those tomatoes, which again, I cannot rave enough about for this particular purpose. And just no mozzarella, no Parmesan, just tomato, anchovy, a little garlic, and I'll top it with some pepperoncini. And maybe with a drizzle of olive oil. And this is in tribute to one of the great slices of my entire life. In November of 2000, I was in Siena, Italy, in the Piazza del Campo. And I stumbled into a little trattoria, looked at the menu, and ordered the pizza with anchovy. And this also brings back memories of my dad, who loved his anchovies. I ate too much already, so I'll just do this little one. And I'll save those for lunch tomorrow.